Welcome to Extremely Valid Points.
We're three business owners and friends who enjoy talking about business, marketing, and creativity.
Along the way, we just might happen to make some extremely valid points.
So we'd love it if you would join us in today's conversation.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Extremely Valid Points podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about building a machine that generates cash. And we're your co-hosts. I'm Nathan Sala.
I'm Jenny.
And I'm Dave.
We're going to be talking about sales funnels, and this is actually a 4-part series, and this is the first one of the 4-part series. What are the other parts of this series, Jenny?
So after this week, we're going to talk about video and how video can add value to your sales funnel. Dave's going to teach us some of his secrets that he knows. And then we're going to talk about lead generators, and that will include how to capture emails by having an attractive lead generator, specifically a PDF. And then in episode 8, which is the 4th part of the 4-part series, we will be talking about lead nurturing and how to take those emails and turn them into customers.
Nice.
Great.
I'm excited, and I'm sure you are too. So talking about sales funnels, in his book, Donald Miller said, marketing should be easy and it should work. And he also said that without a sales funnel in place, all your other marketing is worthless. And so that was from his book, Marketing Made Simple. And that book's all about a sales funnel. But so a lot of people think that marketing and sales funnels are the same thing. They're actually not the same thing. Marketing is what drives people to your funnel. So it's not your funnel. A lot of people also think that your landing page is your funnel. But even though your website or landing page is a very key, important part of your funnel, that's not your funnel.
So what is a funnel?
Great question. So a sales funnel is sold at the hardware store next to the sales buckets and the sales spouts.
If only it were that easy.
So no, a funnel is a machine that converts traffic into sales. And so actually whoever came up with the funnel as an idea was actually really brilliant, because it took this very complex system of clockwork and maneuvering gears and whatever, and it turned into, a really simple to understand concept that we can all understand. And so, a real life funnel, if you don't know, a real life funnel is like this triangular shaped spout, and it's got a wide opening at the top, and you pour something into it, and it gets narrow and narrow. And then when it's at the bottom of the funnel, you can now aim it with much greater ease and achieve your purpose, which for most people using a funnel, their purpose is to fill up a container with less spillage.
But in the case of a sales funnel, you're taking a wide variety of potential clients, narrowing them down into the right type of client, ideally, and getting that just right person to pick up that phone, give you a call, write that check, whatever it is.
Right. So with the sales funnel, you're pouring traffic into the top of it. And as the traffic moves down the funnel, it gets narrow and narrow because the actual number of people in the funnel gets smaller and smaller and smaller. And that's because they'll either opt out, realizing that you're not going to be able to solve their problem with your product, or they just realize that this is not for them and they're gone. So the only people remaining after that point are the people that are most likely to buy.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, because I, probably in the past would have a thought about, don't you want to capture everyone, right? Why are you wanting to diminish your potential customers? But really what you're doing is concentrating, right? You're concentrating on the people that you can really and truly serve, and not wasting time on people that aren't interested in your product, can't use your product, don't
want to spend the money on
exactly,
it.
Right?
Exactly. Right. And so, and the funnel is what does that. It's the machine that filters those bad clients out, focuses on your best clients, and then out of the bottom of the funnel comes out pure cash.
Pure gold.
So if you have if you're a B2B company, like if you're a business that sells to other businesses, then what your funnel actually doesn't actually produce cash, it produces leads. And then those leads are given to your very capable and talented sales team, and then they close the sale. And then so that's what generates the cash, and then you use that cash to grow your business. That's how business works, if you ever wanted to know that.
So can you give us like a specific example?
Yeah, sure. So for example, traffic arrives on your website and you immediately begin educating people about how you can solve their problems. And they'll quickly lose interest and self-filter out if they need to exit the funnel. But everybody else will remain right inside the funnel. And so the interesting thing is that at any given time, 3% of the population is ready to buy now. So if you went out on the street and rounded up 100 people and told them your pitch, 3% of the people would be like, take my money, And so, if you've done an amazing job with your ads and your marketing, you can get that number to 5 or 15 or more. But, for our purposes, 3% is a general rule of thumb. It's almost always true that 3% of the people are going to want to buy now. And so for those people, you want to have that buy now button. Mm-hmm. That's very clear, a way that they can engage with you. It's like, yes, I'm ready. Let's do that.
If you don't have that, you're missing out on that opportunity.
Right.
And sometimes people just don't get a sale because they don't ask for it.
Right.
So if people come to your website and they don't see a way to buy now, they're going to leave.
Mm-hmm.
Don't make it complicated for them.
Right. And just for funnel mechanics, that's called a call to action. Buy now is a call to action. You are calling that buyer to buy when? Now.
I think that's a great point too, because I think there could be a tendency to even think like, well, that's too in your face or too forceful, right? Mm-hmm. That's very money centric. Mm-hmm. But again, it's like you're removing, you're clarifying and making it very easy because they want to know, how do I get this? How do I buy now? Very easy, very clear.
Right. And I don't think it's bad to be so straightforward. People know that you're in business to make money and to sell stuff. And so to try to be elusive and, be overly friendly is often perceived as insincere.
Yeah, that's true.
It's true. You have to be, you have to be aggressive. And once they buy now, they are out of your funnel. They've been converted, and now they're in a different funnel where you follow up and put them in a different funnel. But for this funnel, they're gone. They're done. They've completed it. And everybody else who is not out of the funnel yet, they're still in there. These are the type of people who, they say, okay, well, I'm interested, but I want to take it a little slow. Those 3%, they jump right in with you. They're saying, let's go for it. Everybody else is like, well, at least get to know me first.
Right.
And so that is what the funnel continues to do, is transform your traffic until it's ready to become your customer. So I thought about this morning. It's kind of like a dating website, where if you're on a dating website, your profile is the funnel, because traffic is going to come into your funnel, and they're going to do one of three things. They're either going to decide to opt out, like, nope.
Don't like your mug.
Yep. Don't like your picture. Don't like that you like long walks on the beach. I hate that. So that's the one thing. Or they're going to decide to date you, and they're going to, figure out, well, what's the next process in that? Or they're going to decide to marry you. Now, that for the 3% that decide to marry you right then and there, that doesn't mean you're now married. You still have to make sure that they're the right fit for you. They make a great partner and that kind of thing. But 3% of them are going to decide right then and there that
I would
they
marry
are
that
going
chick.
to marry you. Yeah. So that's what a sales funnel is.
Awesome.
So with these people who are willing to date us, what are the next steps? How do we get them down into that bottom of the funnel to where they're ready to marry us or where they're ready to buy?
Great question. I think you got to look at what makes a sales funnel work. How does a sales funnel actually work? What's the science behind it? And so the funnel works by systematically focusing on 3 areas, and the areas are know, like, and trust. People won't convert unless they know you, they like you, and they trust you. And so it really doesn't get more complicated than that. It's very simple. So for example, you can have a clear statement on your website about how you can solve their problem, and then you can include a basic listing of the types of services that you offer to help solve the problem. And now the customer feels like they know you. Like just those two things there. Like, oh, okay, I know what they do. I get it. I know them. Now you can include some humor or maybe some education, some sort of value added components that maybe offer them something so great that they would pay for it, but you're just giving it to them for free, and it does help them, and they need this, and they're thinking, wow, this is great, thank you. But that component that you're giving them that's not your main business. That's just something that you're doing to facilitate the relationship. So at that point, they like you. And so finally, you show them some testimonials or maybe a portfolio of work you've completed. You demonstrate your expertise, you demonstrate your experience, and talk about other of their colleagues who have written great reviews about you. And now all of a sudden they trust you. They say, hey, I know so-and-so at that company, and they're saying these guys did a great job, so they'll trust you. So that's really what that's the mechanics of the funnel and how it works. And so after you've done that, they're near the bottom of your funnel. And what you want to do now is give them another chance to buy, another call to action. So you say, buy now, and probably more than 3% of the people at that point are going to opt in. They now know, like, and trust you. There's very few reasons why they wouldn't do it. And whatever those reasons are, you can still explore later. But at this point, you either want to give them the call to action, or for those who still aren't ready, what you want to do is, and this is going to sound bad, but essentially you want to bribe them to give you their email address.
Incentivize them.
Right. It's a bribe. It's dirty. And from that point, you nurture them until the end of the sales cycle. You just nurture them with a drip email campaign.
I would say that inviting someone to give you their personal information is an opportunity also to build trust, because there's a lot of value in my email address. That's my privacy. That's access to me. And, especially nowadays, I think most people are very protective over, what comes into their inbox and what they have to filter through on a daily basis. And so, for me to give you my email address, you need to really be offering me something of value to make it worth it.
That's true. And I like what you said there, because it does build trust, because they're not completing the ultimate transaction that you want where they make the purchase, but it is a transaction where they're trading something of value from them and they're receiving something of value from you. So when you make good on your commitment, when they give you the email and then you send them something that's actually a value, you have now built trust. And so you've solidified, you've strengthened the bond between you two, and that will definitely move them down the funnel a little bit further.
Right. And so the key there is making sure that you are delivering on your promise. So if you're saying, I'm going to give you some really great, valuable information, in exchange for your email address, once they hand that email address over and they get your information, it better be something good that they've learned from, that they find value in.
Yeah. And it's so important. It's so important that, in fact, episode 7, 2 episodes from now, we're going to devote an entire podcast episode strictly to that topic.
Yes.
It's so important.
And episode 8, following that, we're also going to talk about those next steps. Once you get that email address, how do you continue to build relationship with these potential clients, know, like, and trust, how to engage with them, and how to move them down the funnel using their email address and continuing the conversation once they've left your website or wherever they are.
And I imagine there's a certain amount of people that you're going to get in that they're going to stay stuck at that level or opt out at that point, right? They came and they wanted the free thing or the small purchase, and then that's it, and then they're done, right? And I mean, I would imagine that you could kind of get hung up on the fact that, okay, well, why can't they move down the funnel? But would you recommend like you just need to accept there's a certain level there that's all they're going to go to, and let's concentrate on the people that we can move down the funnel?
Absolutely. I would say 1 out of every 10 of your best customers are just going to want to use you and take your free stuff and only come around, And it's not unlike real life. We all have that person in our family or a person we knew from high school or something that, they're just kind of like that. And, there's nothing you can do about it. You can't change them. You can't really change that situation or the dynamic. So yeah, you just have to accept it and say, that's okay. I'm going to keep giving you free stuff and, be blessed. Have a nice day, sir.
And there is going to be a small population of people downloading your free stuff that are actually your competitors who are trying to figure out what it is you're doing and how they can copy you, which is okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
It is.
That means you're doing something right, obviously.
Yep.
Right.
And if you can help your competitors get better, it just serves the overall market. And there's plenty of work out there for everybody. So
yeah,
it's fine.
They say imitation is the best form of flattery.
That's true.
Sure. Yeah.
So you've obviously put a lot of thought into this. Do you have a sort of secret sauce that you've developed for this?
We do. So to understand the secret sauce, I think that I want to talk a little bit about the blueprint first.
Okay, sure.
Because we mentioned Donald Miller earlier, and he has that the great book called Marketing Made Simple, which I think we reference in every single podcast so far. It's so good. But he definitely delivers on his promise of the book title. It's Marketing Made Simple. And it might almost be too simple for all businesses, but it is so simple that it would work on some level for all businesses. And so he lays out a 6-step process for creating a digital marketing sales funnel. And he says, if you follow these steps, your business will grow. And so his framework, which I'll read it to you in just a second, but it's a great starting point for just about anyone. And it's the story brand. And then there's the one-liner, which is, sort of like, here's what I do in one sentence. It really clarifies and focuses, here's exactly what I'm offering and how it will help you. And the story brand puts it all in the context of the storytelling, which is essential to connection with people and building that customer relationship, which is the whole purpose of the funnel. And then the website wireframe, which is how you're going to kind of tell that story on a website, landing page, building that landing page out. And then number 4 is the lead generator PDF. So that whole component of that offer that you're going to exchange your email for. And then 5 is the nurture email campaign. So it's like, how are you going to just keep top of mind for these prospects and just keep the relationship going and growing. And then finally, his sixth step is the sales email campaigns where you've been drip nurturing them for a while. Now it's time to give them another buy now call to action. So that's his method. I think that would work for just about anybody. It's a really great blueprint or model. But for us, we've modified it a little bit. And so the way we do it is we have 4 phases. So the first phase is we create the funnel strategy. And that funnel strategy is basically that whole process that Donald Miller does in his first 6 steps. We'll say, here's what you should do. And so like say there might be an agency out there that is listening to our podcast and they might say, okay, well, you're really great at this funnel strategy. I have a client that would be really, that could really use this. But I already have a team. I can execute this. I can build it all. I just need the ideas. I need the plan and what to do. So we can just say, okay, well, we'll just create the funnel strategy. That's phase 1. But for a lot of other companies, they're like, well, we can't, we can't execute it either. So phase 2 is to actually execute the funnel. And that's where you build the landing page. You create the story, you write the emails, you do all of the copy, you just do the work, right? So, and then stage 3 is you pack the funnel with amazing content because content is the fuel of a funnel is a machine that generates cash. Content is the fuel. So if you don't have really great content, your funnel is not going to really do much.
So let's talk for a minute about great content,
Okay.
because that's a great segue into our next episode, where we're going to be talking about video and how video can add a lot of value to your sales funnel. We can reason with people with our words, but then when you add video and imagery to your words, it creates this whole new level of emotion and inspiring engagement. It's a great way to engage with people and to have good content that will help people know, like, and trust you.
Right. Yeah, no, that's an excellent point. And one of the things, piggybacking off that concept about just the emotional engagement, is I think one of the reasons why video is such a great tool for connecting with people and having a call to action is that you can make that call to action sort of a felt need, so that it's not just you want to have that buy now button that's easy, that they know, oh, okay, this is what I do. I click here and then I can, make this process. But when you have video content, essentially you're creating that emotion that says, I want to take a next step. I want to be a part of this. And that as a part of that funnel, instead of feeling like, hey, I'm just in this hopper and I'm getting squeezed, what they feel like is I'm taking a journey. I happened on this random thing and I saw this and I want to know more and I want to know more. How do I get involved? It looks like you're solving a problem
Right.
for me. This is the thing I've been looking for all my life, right?
Right.
And I'm going on a journey rather than like I'm getting siphoned down. It's
squeezed.
two different ways to look at it, but
Sure.
it just helps to follow that natural process. And we are so tuned now to consuming content online, watching episode and what happens next, right? We binge watch stuff. We are just now, one dilemma is we're saturated, right?
Right.
But we're also conditioned to want to watch that video and get involved in another world and explore. So we can use that to our advantage in our business marketing.
Yes.
Yeah. So great content.
Yeah, great content. So that's the third phase. And then the fourth phase is your digital marketing campaign. And when I say campaign, I put a little more oomph into it
Boy,
because
you sound excited about campaigns.
We put the pain in campaign.
we take the campaign.
We take the pain out.
So I think of, ancient military strategy where if you were a lord of a land and you had to siege a campaign against somebody, it was a coordinated effort that required all of these moving parts. And you wouldn't just say like, let's send one guy in at a time. It's like, I need to do this strategy. So I'm going to win this war. And so the campaign, that was called a military campaign. And so that's why I say campaign with such passion, because I think that
he just watched Braveheart the other day.
I see.
Braveheart may or may not have had anything to do with it, but
It did.
yeah. But the campaign is basically when you do all of your marketing efforts. But the key is they have to all work together in this coordinated strategy. So we're talking video, ads, social media, emails, Facebook ads, Google ads, even phone calls. It could be part of it. And the whole goal of all of your campaign is, hey, let's get people into our funnel. So that is the 4-phase process that we do.
Awesome.
So I would say you were wondering about the secret sauce, right?
Yes.
So the secret sauce is, well, let me first say this, that if you have a landing page that has a high conversion rate and everything's so dialed in that if somebody is in your target market and they actually need your product, and so this could work for them and they can afford it. If they land on your page, there's such a high degree of likelihood that they're going to buy it. Once you get your funnel to that point, it's like printing money.
Oh, wow.
Because all you need to do is at that point is just get more eyeballs onto the page. So it's a simple, let's just get more people on there. Let's just get more people seeing this. Because the secret sauce is to make that happen, to get really, 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 really good at building funnels is called conversion rate optimization. And it's called CRO. This whole deal. It's to be really good at it. You got to be half data nerd, half brilliant marketer, half creative genius. So that's 3 halves. So it's almost impossible. You need a team of people to really pull it off. But it involves like A/B split testing and making sure that you are really focusing on the metrics, checking out how well things are performing. Is your funnel working? And so to do it really well, you need a really good CRM. So a CRM, customer relationship management database, where you can, the best ones nowadays, you can know so much detail, like which pages of your website have they been to, which videos have they watched, which ads did they click on. And so when you look at one of your customers, you know, like all of the interactions they had, they're called touch points. You know, every single touch that has happened in their whole journey. And then that will help you not only serve them better, but it will help you understand how well your funnel is working.
Yeah. And I think that one thing I hear over and over again from potential clients when they sit down with us, it's just this common story is, I spent all this money on marketing. I tried that before. It didn't work. And often the questions we ask them is, okay, you were spending how much on Google Ads, and what page were you sending them to? Well, what was your conversion rate? How many people visited the site? How many people clicked on the buy now button? And most of the time people don't have that information. And so one thing that we always advise our clients is, before you spend a whole bunch of money sending people to a landing page, make sure that landing page is going to convert. And so you do that by spending a little bit of money and watching like a nerd, watching all of those metrics and see what happens. And then, like you said, with A/B split testing, creating this process where you find what works first and then spend the money on the advertising. That's the only way to really, because otherwise, you're just throwing money or just randomly throwing things and seeing what will stick. And then there's really no science behind it. And you don't know if something succeeds, you don't really know what succeeded. And if it fails, you don't know why. And so really being a nerd and knowing all of that science and metrics is the most important part of building a sales funnel.
So I also think that great copywriting is the secret sauce, because like you were saying earlier, words are really, it all comes down to words. Being able to write words that connect, write words that are clear and tell the story. So that goes all the way back to our first phase of like the whole strategy part. What are the words, figuring out the right words. And I think that's the a key part of it too.
So what are the biggest mistakes that you want to avoid?
So some of the biggest mistakes that people make when they're trying to make funnels is trying to do too much at once. The thing about a funnel is, and I would say this is probably the weakness of a funnel, it's only good for one single product or service. You can't use your funnel for 10 different things. So if you try to focus on too many things at once, you're just going to find that it's not effective and it doesn't work as well as it should be, or the data is not as clear because it's too confusing. There's nobody that can really sort it all out. So a single funnel, you can really analyze and get really good at it.
Yeah, right. That's an important point to make, right? Because if you're forcing your viewer or your the person that you're trying to reach out to make too many decisions or choices right up front, right, or to work too hard, then they're going to just hop right out of that funnel.
Right.
Yep. Yeah.
Presenting too many options really is what it's about. It's you're losing attention span. If somebody clicks on a page because they're interested in us, and this drives me crazy, I'll just say this. I do click on Facebook ads. And there's, right now we've been redecorating. We moved into a new house. And so I'm always thinking about furniture. Not that I should buy any more, Nathan, but I see like a beautiful picture of something and I go, oh, that's exactly what I want. And I click on it and then it takes me to the page where they're selling it, but not the product. Mm-hmm. You've lost me. Don't make me work too hard to find it. And I see a lot of people do that with their ads. They're wasting money on their ads. How many clicks are they getting? And then people are leaving because they didn't get to what they wanted.
Mhm.
And so if people are clicking on something for a specific thing and then you take them somewhere else and you show them lots more options, you're requiring too much brain power from them.
Right.
You've gotten a split second of their attention. And if you want to keep it, stay on point.
True.
Good point. That's an extremely valid point.
Extremely valid. So I think another big mistake that people make, we touched on this earlier, is just not measuring the funnel's impact and not really testing how to improve the funnel. And then again, failing to pack the funnel with high quality content is another huge mistake that people make. That's another thing that'll break your funnel. If it's just, that, and if your PDF offer, we already touched on this too a little bit, is terrible. It's like, I trusted you, I gave you my email address, and I get this PDF, and it's just absolutely horrible. It's you'd have to. It's a real stretch to even say that it delivered on what it was going to say, but I've downloaded stuff that promised me the 5 secrets I would need to, grow my business. And it's just a brochure about, how these people make a logo.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm just like, this is not helpful to anybody. And so
It didn't really
right
solve
there,
any problem or give you any value.
not at all. It was a
It was
salesy schmoozy.
Yeah.
I felt like I had been violated. So
You were
and
lied to.
I was lied to. I was deceived. I was used.
Now,
And
are
now
you
they
ever-
had I could never get my email address back from them.
You couldn't. But would you ever buy from them?
Never. I broke up with them right then and there. It was over. End of relationship. Yep.
Mhm.
No more. Of course, if they learned from themselves and they did have my email, they would have an opportunity later to say, hey, look, we're sorry we blew it. Now check out our new one, and I might fall for it. Like, okay, I'll see. But probably not.
I'm assuming then you employ this strategy for your own business, right? So for World Light Media, what does your sales funnel look like?
So we have, so here's a real life example of what our sales funnel looks like. So you can take this and maybe apply it to see how it might work for yours. So it starts with, we already did our story branding. We already know who we are, what we do. We know our story, our core story.
We know
That
who
is
our
woven-
ideal client is.
Yeah. That's woven throughout every piece of communication that we have with clients is just a part of our DNA. It's part of our culture. It's part of who we are. So then what we did was we came up with our marketing wireframe for our website. So I'll just sort of show you the outline of what that wireframe of the website looks like, so you can kind of apply what we're learning here today. And so the one-liner is, we will fix your broken marketing system so that it makes you more money than it costs. And so right away, if you don't have a broken marketing system, then you're like, okay, I'm out. This is not for me. But if you're a company and you know that, like, hey, marketing's my blind spot and I spent too much on marketing, I never made my money back. So right now, that one-liner solves 2 problems of yours right off the bat. And then right below that, I'll list some problems, like you may have not enough leads, or they're bad leads. Your marketing isn't working. It costs you too much time or money. There's missed opportunities, and your competitors are getting all the business. So right now, there's 3% of people are like, shut up and take my money. And
Yeah.
so we have a process where we will further qualify them to make sure that they're a good lead for us. And then they'll go into our automation process to get into our closing funnel, which is basically, we'll meet with you and we'll figure out if we're a good fit. And so right after that, we offer them steps. So we say, here's how to really understand this procedure. It's for everybody else that's still in the funnel. And we'll say, step 1, we're going to understand your business. Step 2, we're going to create a new marketing system for you. And then step 3, we're going to maximize your profits. So, it's obviously more detailed and complicated than that, but in the minds of our buyers, they really can fully understand the whole scope of, here's the 3-step plan. Here's how we're going to, I'm going to do this and I'm going to get more profit out of it. Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
And then I'll have a section below that says, we will help you. So this is the story. This is a page out of the StoryBrand book where in the StoryBrand context, the customer is the hero. We are their guide. And so in any good story, there always has to be some element of danger. That's why you talk about the problem right off the bat.
Yeah. Conflict, right?
Yeah, the conflict. And if there's no conflict, it is the worst story in the world. It's not engaging at all. Mm-hmm. Conflict is what makes a great story. So that's why we talk about the problems. And then we talk about the solutions and say, so in this next section, we will help you, build profitable sales funnels, improve your brand's messaging, generate more great leads, monitor your marketing performance, and understand your results. So basically now this is what we're offering. So what will help you fix. Here's how we're going to do it. And here's your plan. And so at this point, we hope that they're in their mind, and we'll use video and great content to do that. But basically what we want them to have in their mind is this knowledge that we are masters of strategy, creativity, and design. And so if they don't have that, if they're not thinking that right at that moment, we send an inception team in to plant the idea. No, yes. We can't do that. The technology doesn't exist for that quite yet.
Yeah, right.
But we'll list our digital marketing services, so we can do email, SEO, we can do branding, we can do, ads and all these different marketing campaign services.
Okay.
And then we'll follow it up with, here's some work we've done. Here's some testimonials from happy clients. And then we'll say, hey, are we a good fit? Book a Zoom call. Let's do this. Let's take this to the next level. Or we might say, watch the webinar, sign up for this webinar, and we'll get some people to watch webinar, which isn't finished yet. We're still doing that part, but that will be, I think, a really successful way to onboard people. Or we can say, download our free guide. The PDF generator. I think that'd be a great way to get people onto our email nurture list and say, here's a couple of examples. So say they opt into our email, because they either booked a Zoom call, they watched the webinar, or they downloaded our PDF guide. They'll get emails weekly that say things like, with really catchy
subject lines.
Subject lines. Thank you. Mm-hmm. And so here's some examples of great email subject lines. How to fix a broken marketing system. So we'll tell them, here's we want to add value to your life.
Mm-hmm.
How to build a profitable sales funnel. So we'll just say, here's an email. Here's how to do it. How to improve your brand's messaging. How to generate more of the best leads. How to monitor your marketing performance and understand your results. So, we'll just keep dripping out this content so that people will either figure out, hey, I'm going to do this myself now.
Yeah.
Which most people that are in business, they're too busy doing their business,
right,
to try and figure all this stuff out. So our kind of gamble is that we're just going to demonstrate that we can do it, and then they're going to like us enough, know us enough, and trust us enough that they'll say, well, why don't I have you guys do it? Because I've tried this before and I failed.
Right. Yeah. And I think, it's really been proven that when you give knowledge away, yes, there's a risk that you're just providing this knowledge free of charge and someone can take it and run with it. And certain amount of people are always going to do that. However, you're also showing people that, hey, I understand this. I understand it really well, and I can do it efficiently. And people that really get that know that, why would I try to reinvent the wheel or learn this all myself? Unless you're really interested in it, let me just have the pro do this for me, right?
Yeah, I would agree with you, Dave, that there's going to be a portion of people who they're not going to hire you and they just want the information, and that's good enough. It's okay. But I also think that when you're willing to give away this information, once again, it really creates that opportunity to build trust with people and for them to, and while you're giving this information out, they're getting to know you and you're building relationship, indirectly. They don't even have to ever talk to you. And that's the beauty of this marketing campaign or of a sales funnel, is how many people you can reach without ever actually having to pick up the phone or shake their hand and meet face to face, and spend, think about all that time that it would take you to win over that client if you were doing it in person. But now you can do it through automated emails and in video and content that you create once, and then hundreds and thousands of people can read it and absorb it. And as they do, they're connecting you with it. They're building relationship with you in their own mind and in their own opinion of, who's the expert, who do I want to hire? So that's the beauty of it, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah, it's scalable at that point.
Right.
Okay, so you guys have convinced me. This is a good way to grow my business, get new clients, etc. So where do I start?
Great question. Well, so I would say first, let's take a look. Let's sit down and look at what is your most profitable service. Always start, since the funnel can only do one thing at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Always start with the thing that's the most profitable first. What one service that you do, or what one product that you sell is the most profitable. Start there and build a funnel surrounding that. Get that one dialed in. Once that one's done, then you can do, your next profitable service, or, so just start with the one funnel at a time, because it is a tremendous amount of work just to do the one funnel.
Sure.
And once that's in place, your whole business, now that it has this cash generation machine, well, now you have cash to hire more people. You're in a position where you can grow, and you have a lot more freedom to operate like a real business. As you know, since you are a real business master.
Yes.
Can I add to that? I think, one thing that before you call a marketing company or somebody to help you create a funnel, one thing that would really help you get the most out of it is know what your most profitable, product or service is, for sure. Also, think about who your ideal client is. Think about what their buying process looks like. What questions do they ask? What are some frequently asked questions that people call you with before they want to make a purchase? What problems are you solving for people? If you know that before you contact a marketing agency, you're going to get way more benefit for your dollar.
Yeah, that's good. That's good to know.
Yeah. So yeah, the sales funnel, in conclusion, is simply, it's the revenue engine for your business. And if you're considering, hiring a pro, or doing it yourself, I think it comes down to whether you have more time or more money. If you have the time to do it, there's an extremely high amount of cerebral energy that has to go into figuring out all, designing all the clockwork that goes into it and all of that. So it does take time. But if you do have more money than time, which is usually the case in a more established business or a more successful business, a lot of them already understand this. A lot of them already know this, and they know that they need a great funnel, or they usually have several in place, and they're just looking for somebody who they can trust to execute that. But, that's the situation where you would just hire a pro to do it, because, like I said earlier, you're good at your business. You're good at doing what you do. You don't need to become an expert in funnel manufacturing,
right?
Unless you manufacture funnels.
So does anybody have any inspiration they'd like to share with us for the week?
So actually, right before we recorded this, I went to Google and I typed in inspirational quotes for sales funnels. And I found number 6. I found this page that pulled up a big list of quotes, and I found this quote, number 60 on the list. It says, "If you harness the power of innovation, you'll convert sales complexity into a brutal competitive advantage." And that's from the famous Tim Sanders.
Thought you were going to say Edgar Allan Poe.
Brutal
He gets that
competitive advantage, he says. Brutal. What if I don't want to be brutal? What if I'm not a violent person?
I mean, that's a great question. But I think that if you care enough about your service, and you know how badly that your competitors are mucking up their clients' lives, you care enough and love your clients enough that you'll want to save them. Your mama bear kicks in to deliver those poachers from ruining your client's business.
Is this a marketing guy or what? He knows how to talk to me
There you go.
in the way that I'll understand, in the way that I think, to convince me that this quote is good.
And I do it all by telling the truth. It's just the truth.
Well, there you go.
All right.
So thanks for joining us today for another episode of Extremely Valid Points. If you would like to access our show notes, you can find those at extremelyvalidpoints.com/5. And we hope you'll join us next week for episode 6, where we're going to talk about video and the power of video in your sales funnel. And continue to join us on the journey of this 4-part series on sales funnels. Thanks.
Thanks
for
everyone.
joining us.
Bye.
Thanks for spending time with us at the Extremely Valid Points podcast. To learn more about this episode, see our show notes at extremelyvalidpoints.com. Be sure and subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you download your podcasts. Join us on Facebook at facebook.com/extremelyvalid. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Instagram at EVP_podcast. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time with some extremely valid points.